Hello there. Today I would like to share with you a little bit about where I was actually born and raised. Alright, so this is something fun that you don't want to miss. Before I tell you exactly where I was actually born and raised, let me just start with a story. A few years ago, I found myself at a party. And as I was at the party, I was sitting at the table with a bunch of people. I noticed a group of young women actually talking amongst themselves. And because I was by myself and I was not actually paying attention to them, not talking to them. So I just noticed that as they were talking, they would whisper and look at me. And as I started paying attention to what they were saying, I realized that this is the gist of what they were saying. One of them says this. Let me just tell it first of all in a language, and I'll translate and I'll tell you exactly what happened next. Hey, tato aza fier, hein? Donc, en son abatute. Attends, moi, t'étais vraiment tato, fier, tato. Parce qu'à l'intérieur, oui, attends, même moi, t'étais vraiment, c'est ça la raté. So I was just listening to them for a few minutes. Eventually, I couldn't keep it. I started laughing and says to them in the language, says, I understand exactly everything you just said. I speak the language, and as soon as I spoke the language back to them, they were shocked. And one of them simply says, it's impossible. You're not from our country. How come? I said, of course. I was born and raised in the same country as you. I speak the language. I was actually born in the capital, and everything you just said, I just fully understood everything you're saying. So I'm not upset because I understand this is how basically people in the country actually behave. So it's okay. So they were completely shocked for a few minutes. Eventually, of course, we're able to actually laugh about it and actually get to introduce one another and actually almost become friends. So why am I telling you this story? Because as far as life is concerned, things can be very funny, you know. Until and unless you actually come to sit down with a person, you don't really know where they're coming from. And you don't know what they actually bring to the table when it comes to baggage, when it comes to experience, when it comes to skills. It's only when it comes to sitting with the person, then you're going to get to discover the person when it comes to the multiple facets of their personality and the background and what they bring to the table. And this is just something funny, just illustrate my point as far as never judge a book by the cover. Get to know the person first before you can just jump to conclusion, because sometimes you speak next to a person who's basically has all the answers to the thing that you're looking for, alright? But as far as I'm concerned, let's just get to that. I was actually born and raised in the country, formerly known as Zaire, spelled Z-A-I-R-E, Zaire. And I was just introducing myself a few days ago to someone of in North America, and I mentioned the name of the country I was actually born. I actually spelled it for them, and they couldn't pronounce the name. I said, yes, Zaire. I believe there's also a former NBA player, one of his children actually called Zaire as well. So it's Zaire, and it's a beautiful country at the very center of Africa, formerly known as Zaire, and today known as the Congo. Alright, so this is just something I want to share with you as far as where I was actually born and raised. And of course, I've been living in this country for a greater part of my life. So Congo will always be a part of my heart, and it will always be a part of my DNA, and will always be part of something I carry everywhere I go. So my experience, my life experience, some of the things I actually share with you are actually based on where I'm coming from. As a matter of fact, from time to time, I used to love to talk about this gentleman named Muhammad Ali. Why? Because in 1974, he came to the Congo, he came to Kinshasa, back then known as Zaire, to actually fight against George Foreman. And that fight took place in a city known as Kinshasa, that's the capital. And that fight basically put the country on the map. That was number one. Number two, shortly before that, I believe, sometime in the summer, the country had actually qualified to go to the World Cup. The country got to the World Cup, and something really funny happened at the World Cup. The players, when they found out they were supposed to be paying more money as far as the rights were concerned, they asked questions as to when the money was actually when the money was actually delivered to them. And when they found out that there was no definite answer as to when the money would be delivered to them, guess what they did? They said, we're gonna play the next game against the opponent, but we're simply going to go and just let the opponent simply do as they wish. They got onto the field, and guess what the score was 9. Basically, they let the opposing team score 9 times, and only score 1. I believe it was 1-0. So basically, it was completely, it was a debacle. And needless to say, this was basically the first and the last time the country made it to the World Cup. Made it to that level. Or hopefully, within the next few, they're gonna make it back. But That's to also illustrate the fact that it's a country of people who also love to challenge the status quo, ask hard questions, and when they're not provided with the right answer, they will simply say, you know what, I'm not going to do exactly what you asked me to do. I'm simply going to protest until you can tell me exactly how and when I'm going to get the answers I'm looking for. All right, so that's it for me as far as this video is concerned. Again, before I go, 4 key things I kindly ask you to do. Number 1, please make sure you like this video. Number 2, please make sure you leave a comment. Number 3, please make sure to share this video as many people as possible. Last but not least, please make sure to subscribe if you have not already done so. All right, love you so much. The best is yet to come. Take good care. I'm out.